Thirdly, and I may lose track of the numbers because I'm still in American time, and if I have to come up with 6 C's, please don't blame me. Thirdly, besides coverage, the work you do has to be broadcast out there. I consult with other think tanks in the region, and I won't be specific, but the think tank that simply sits around and thinks and writes a few policy papers for itself and maybe drops them in the mail occasionally, it's like the tree that falls in the forest when nobody's around. Nobody hears it. In the modern world, you have to link up electronically. And you can have a virtual think tank, one that's based on the web, and have a tremendous amount of influence. I know at Brookings, from time to time, we decide that something has to get out quickly. And we don't wait for a newspaper to publish it. We just put it on our website, and eventually it's picked up by, if it's worthwhile, it's picked up by everybody. So the coverage has to take advantage of all the modern means of communication. TV, no longer radio, but TV, the internet, SMSing. At Brookings, we've got a TV studio now, which we can produce short video clips to send out, sort of blast them out to the world's media. So you have to make sure that the ideas you do generate actually are read and affected by others. Fifthly or fourthly, I'm not sure, I've lost track, please. I am in deep jet lag now. You have to have credibility. And credibility comes from having the best people write the best papers, sending them to as widely as possible, but targeting policy community. And it's hard to achieve. In a sense, credibility comes from quality control. And a good think tank or good research institute or good university must be vicious in terms of the kinds of quality control that applies to its own stuff. The worst thing for an institute or university, for that matter, to do is to simply publish it because we've done it. And to assume that because it's done at Brookings or it's done at Heritage or another foundation, it's good. You have to have rigid quality control. External peer review by anonymous reviewers is essential. And you have to have a percentage of things that are rejected. In fact, if you publish everything you do, there's something wrong. It has to have some degree of turn down. It hurts people's feelings internally. If you have somebody working for you and they write a paper and you tell them it's not good enough, redo it, try again. You may make an enemy, but in the long term, that maintains your credibility as a research center. Finally, in terms of the C's, I think you have to have courage, in the sense that you have to allow the scholars and the analysts you're working for you to write what they think is the right thing. You can debate with them, you can argue, but you hope to find people who will stand up and attack or differ with conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom, what everybody says, what the experts are saying, is the death of policy. You have to have people who are willing to stand up and disagree with what is conventional, because as sure as we're sitting here, you know that 5 years from now, everything we say is going to be wrong, or at least obsolete or incorrect. You have to have young people with new ideas, trained in different disciplines, who have the courage to stand by their ideas, and you have to support them. And I think that's an essential part of any research center or think tank. And it applies to universities, of course, as well. Finally, I think I'm up to 5 C's. I'm not sure. I've lost track. There's an I, and that's the international dimension. There's no modern university in the world today, and I think, of course, the IITs are the best example of this, that exists in a national vacuum. And the thing I like about the IITs is what I like about the Indians, IAS and the IPS, the Indian Foreign Service. It has they have an all-Indian approach. Students here come from the rest of India, and the other IITs are also diverse. Think tanks have to be global. You can't have an American think tank which only thinks about American problems. It only addresses an American audience. In a sense, our job is more difficult because you're trying to deal with and influence policy made by the rest of the world. So a number of the American think tanks have gone global. And I think Carnegie, a couple of the others now have overseas offices all around the world. And I think Brookings is looking for an Indian partner itself. So in a sense, the international component is essential. And with the web, if you don't do that, you're foolish. In a sense, there's a global community of scholars and analysts on any idea. And if you don't take advantage of that, you simply fall behind and you become passé very quickly. Yeah. Let me stop here, and this gives us more time for Q&A. And I could go over some of the issues I talked about yesterday, but that's the talk I gave yesterday is on the web. And I think let me thank you for your patience, and again, Kishore for his remarks, and thank you very much.